PR. Trump tells Christian voters they won't have to vote anymore if he's elected. I saw a post from a friend of mine, and she is, I haven't talked to this person in a couple of years now, kind of sad, but she's like, I'm really worried about what's going to happen if we don't do everything we can. Look at this. Trump is going to be a dictator. It's the end of democracy, blah, blah, blah. Because Trump says, you don't got to vote. You just vote for me this one time. And they're all losing their minds. Former President Donald Trump struck several familiar notes in his address to Christians at Turning Point Action's Believer Summit in West Palm Beach, Florida. The gathering of religious conservatives Friday was an opportunity for Trump to appeal to the critical Republican voting bloc. The Republican nominee promised to protect religious freedoms and touted his history of supporting the Israeli government. Trump also urged Christians to turn out for him ahead of Election Day, calling it the most important election ever. He added that if elected, Christian-related concerns will be fixed, so much that they would no longer need to be politically engaged. And you know what? I can respect that paragraph right there. Trump saying, quote, you won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. So what is he saying? He's half joking. He's saying, I'm going to do so well. We are going to set this up so perfectly. It will be good forever. He is not saying he will eliminate voting. He is not saying he will be a dictator for life. He is not saying is the end of democracy. He's saying, I'm going to support you so much, you're going to be satisfied for the rest of your lives. That's it. Of course, the left is losing their minds. Trump also promised to create an anti-Christian bias federal task force, which I agree with, by the way, as well as to defund schools, pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. Completely agree with all of it. Let the left whinge and whine. You are not allowed under the 1964 Civil Rights Act to discriminate against people on the basis of religion. So the Olympics, for instance, that's in Paris, fine. But they mocked the Last Supper and Christianity overtly. They admitted they did and then panicked when the backlash hit. You can't do that stuff. The left has been doing it over and over and over again. You're not supposed to, you can't. Racial stuff, gender stuff, all of it violates the law. Trump saying, we are going to have equality under the law. I am for. And the left is saying, no, we get special treatment. Not interested. Friday night was Trump's second campaign speech since Biden stepped out of the race and endorsed Vice President Harris as the Democratic nominee. At the summit, Trump spent extensive time attacking Harris. If Kamala Harris gets in, she'll be the most extreme radical liberal president in American history. Turning Point Action is the advocacy wing of Turning Point USA, blah, blah, blah. We get it. To help you understand, actually, I should definitely pull up this clip from Trump. Let me see if I can find it so you can actually hear it because it doesn't do it justice. Trump vote. Let's see if we can find the video clip right away here on X. And is this it? You have to get out. You won't have to do it again. Here we go. Let me play the clip for you.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I don't care. I get what he's saying. For one, excuse me, it's hyperbole. You won't have to vote. Okay. The left doesn't understand humor. They don't understand hyperbole. Everything has to be literal. But there's 2 tiers to this. There are the individuals who know exactly that they know Trump is joking, and they're intentionally acting like it's real to freak people out. Then there are the people that are too stupid to realize he's joking. His point. Before I show you this beautiful clip from Jack Posobiec, Bill Maher talking about Jack Posobiec. His point is, as I stated, we are going to do things that help you so much you will be satisfied for life. Now, of course, many on the left are saying, oh no, he's going to do things that help Christians. And that is fair. They don't like Christianity and they're mad about it. But this idea that it symbolizes or signifies Trump going to eliminate voting or become a dictator or whatever, you won't have to vote ever again. Spare me. But to understand better, here's a clip from Bill Maher's show. Listen to this.
CPAC, do you know what that is? That is the Conservative...
Unfortunately.
What is PAC?
Political Action Committee.
Political Action Committee. Okay.
Yeah.
It's their big convention every year. It's like
doesn't even know what it means.
They have a big convention. They have their big convention. I made jokes about it every year. I can't remember the last time we did it. It goes way back. I remember once calling it the Woodstock for the mentally impaired.
I would just like to mention that Woodstock probably already was for the mentally impaired, but that's an aside.
And but in years past, it was like the most conservative commentators and senators and governors. And okay, this year, there's a guy, I've heard this name, I don't know who he is, Jack Posobiec. He's doing...
Jack Posobiec.
Sort of like a roundtable discussion, you know, it's a convention, they have these things. This is a quote, "Welcome to the end of democracy. We are here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it." Am I missing an irony here?
Yes.
Am I missing a joke? Or is it, as it seems now, they are saying the quiet part out loud?
Yeah.
That they are not. This is CPAC. This is their big, this is Republican, conservative, their big convention. And you have a guy like this and the crowd is loving it. Welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it. January 6th was good. Now we're going to finish the job. Thoughts?
It's scary.
Thoughts on that?
Bill, that was a joke about Trump making a joke about being a dictator day one in office. That is an ironic take on how the liberal media
that was my question. Am I missing the irony?
Conservatives. I think so, yes. It's a joke.
Really?
But, yeah, and I think more to the point. To you, Bill, and to
Keep your day job, Jack.
You see, they can't understand jokes. I do believe that Bill Maher, he realizes it halfway through when he's reading the quote, and he's like, "Uh-oh, let me play it again."
Posobiec. He's doing sort of like a roundtable discussion. You know, it's a convention. They have these things. This is a quote. "Welcome to the end of democracy. We are here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it." Am I missing an irony here?
All right, I got the clip for you. Let me just show you the real context. It's an old story, but it fits in really well with what we're seeing with Trump saying you'll never have to vote again.
All right, welcome. I just wanted to say, look, welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here. We'll replace it with this right here.
Amen.
I just love, this is the world they live in. Everything is real. It's all true. There's no jokes. Everything is literal. And then you've got these two different versions of reality going on. Donald Trump, very fine people. He never said it. They make it up. Donald Trump says a joke. They're aghast. You know, I didn't want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to do this. And it's Elijah Schaffer's fault. So there's a picture of me with Elijah Schaffer. And I have my arm around him and I'm standing up on my tippy toes. I hate to say it, but I didn't know that they were going to post the photo. I was making a joke because, okay, so I'm about 5'10", and Elijah is 6 foot something. And I made this joke that, like, so many of my guests are over 6 feet tall, and they're always like, "Tim, can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "Come on, can't I get someone who's like 5'7" to take a picture with me?" Because now I got all these pictures. Like, Charlie Kirk and Vosh are both like 12 feet tall. And so I'm like, you know, like a little guy over here. I'm kidding, by the way. So, I made a joke because there's photos of Dave Portnoy. I like Dave Portnoy. I'm a fan. That's why I'm like, I didn't want to bring it up. And he's got his arm around people and he's standing on his tippy toes. So I said, "Hey, I got an idea." And so I did that. And they ended up posting the photo. And I'm like, come on. I didn't want to publicly make fun of Dave Portnoy for doing that. But the left doesn't understand jokes. And they're all going like, "Whoa, look at Tim. He's on his toes." I'm like, well, you know, at least I trolled somebody. But this is the point. They can't understand the humor. The people who are prominent liberal personalities completely understand when they're lying and manipulating what Trump is saying for political power. So how do you reconcile this in a political environment? I feel like you actually have two trains of thought at the higher level. You've got people like you and I, most of you watching a show like this, saying basically like, I understand the nuances of politics. I will look into it. I think for a show like this or Timcast IRL, I get many people in the comments saying, Tim, you're wrong about this, that, or otherwise. Tim, you're mispronouncing this. Like I was just told I was mispronouncing the River Seine and correcting me. Some people said like, Tim reads a lot, so he mispronounces things a lot. And I'll get things wrong and people will comment. I'll say, oh, hey, look at that, right? This is one train of thought, that we are researching and trying to understand to the best of our abilities and sharing that information with people. And maybe some people have a hard time understanding it, but if we can give as much people access to the truth as possible, then we will create a better decentralized system, which, a rising tide lifts all ships. The inverse of this, you have people like the Krasensteins. They are not stupid people. They know exactly what they're doing. But their attitude is more so, no, you can't teach stupid people new tricks. You have to manipulate and control them. And so this is the world we live in. Prominent individuals on the right, this is why the right tends to have a better understanding of what's going on in the world, versus the left, where I think if there were no prominent liberal personalities who were willing to lie, you'd actually have, almost uniform agreement on what's going on in the world. What does it mean to be conservative these days? Serious question. Let me ask you. So what if I said, I'm for universal health care? My personal view is there should be universal basic health care, a taxpayer-funded system that covers rudimentary issues. Rudimentary. You break your hand, you show up, you get your hand set, you get a cast. That's rudimentary. For more complex things like cancers, got to be all private. Because that's where things get into specialty areas. A doctor with training can help fix your broken hand or broken leg. However, producing the medicines and the chemicals and all the things you need and the technologies for more advanced treatments, even CAT scans, much, much more difficult. I saw a story about a kid who got the flu and died. And I'm like, geez, man, the flu? We should be over that. I don't know the system is perfect, but that's where I kind of lean. In order to do something like this, you need a mass overhaul. We need secure borders. We can't have, this is why I don't like the mass illegal immigration. You cannot have these programs with mass illegal immigration. Hold on. You're probably now going, Tim, you leftist. No, we should have privatized everything. I'm a Mises Caucus libertarian, or I'm a staunch conservative small government. Tim, that's a leftist communist. Yeah, maybe. But I'm still far right, apparently, the media says, because your political policies don't actually matter. The reality is right now, politics is divided between those who know what's going on in the world and those who don't. If you know what's going on in the world, you are right wing. If you don't, you are left wing. The left wing adheres to a narrative machine that lies, cheats, and steals and makes no sense. And the right is at odds with even themselves disagreeing over policy, but they agree on what is true. This is the challenge of modern American politics. And you know it. Look right now with the FBI's narrative on Donald Trump. I should say Chris Wray, when he was like, well, we don't actually know that Trump was hit with a bullet. Now, there's a possibility Trump wasn't, I guess. I mean, it's in physical reality that Trump was hit by, a blow dart or something. Most likely it was a bullet, right? But judging from the fact that we don't have an official narrative as to what actually happened that day, you could say a lot of things. But suffice to say, the simple solution, looking at what happened and the information we've received so far, is that Trump was shot. Yet there are still people on the left who are going to say he wasn't shot, it was shrapnel. Why? They will believe what the narrative machine tells them to believe. They will not believe reality. They will march in lockstep like robots in the Borg. And that's what's dividing politics today. And this is why you'll get a lot of people who, very liberal, voting for Trump. And they'll say, Trump's kind of moderate. Vox.com, not Fox, Vox, V-O-X, called Trump the moderate candidate back in 2015 or whatever. And they said he had a lot in common with Bernie Sanders. No joke. And then Trump ends up winning. Now he's Hitler. Sure. They got to make it all up. Chris Sununu says Trump's won't have to vote anymore remark didn't mean anything. Democrats have said they see the remark as proof the Republican nominee is a threat to democracy. Sure. New Hampshire Governor Sununu said, I think it was a classic Trumpism, if you will. This week, Sununu's response to the marks, blah, 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 blah. Speaking Friday, we get it. Trump added, we know. Sununu said, a Republican took the word fixed to mean that the country will be repaired rather than future elections will be fixed to achieve a certain outcome. Obviously, we want everybody to vote in all elections, but I think he was just trying to make a hyperbolic point that it can be fixed as long as he gets back into office and all that. Right. Trump's basically saying, if I get one more term, I'm going to fire the bad guys, I'm going to hire the good guys, and it's going to be so good that you're going to sit back and the country is going to work like a well-oiled machine. He's not saying he's going to rig everything. That's the game that they're playing. Here we go. Kamala campaign spreads hoax that Trump promised to end American democracy. What do you do with this? How do you combat stuff like this when they're lying every single day and we know it? The Kamala Harris campaign posted a statement spreading a hoax that Trump promised to end American democracy during a speech on Friday. They used a clip that omitted key context in Donald Trump's speech, suggesting the GOP nominee wants to end elections. Here we go. Statement on Trump's promise to end democracy. When Vice President Harris says this election is about freedom, she means it. Our democracy is under assault by criminal Donald Trump. After the last election Trump lost, he sent a mob to overturn the results, which is just not true. It's kind of crazy, right? Trump said, go home peacefully and patriotically. He said, don't be violent. He said, respect police. And they lie. And there are people who live in that fake reality of paranoid delusion. And there are those of us who unfortunately have the insight, foresight, and capability to, fact check these things and draw our own conclusions. How are we supposed to have a functioning government with the morons? And therein lies the split. The liberal pundits who are smart enough to run a business are saying to themselves, these people are too stupid. You leave them to their own devices and they'll vote for Donald Trump. So that's why you get so many liberals lying, because the prominent ones know. I mean, Cenk Uygur, for instance, this guy's not stupid. He has these outbursts where when I had him on the show, he was like, he does a thing where he goes, do, 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 do. I am not kidding. He literally did that. He breaks down emotionally because there's no response that he can give. He knows to maintain the facade. My belief is that Cenk Uygur knows he's lying. For instance, I got a tweet I'll pull up in a later segment where he's like, if you're offended by drag shows, grow up, because of what's going on with the Olympics, right? So I said, how about we do this? How about we do a drag show where we have drag Jesus and drag Muhammad together on stage? No response. Crickets, of course. It's got like 8,000 retweets or whatever, because they're like, exactly. He's saying, don't be offended by them mocking Jesus, but what about any other religion? Now, I will stress this. I mean, no disrespect to Muslims. And I want to stress this greatly. We'll get into it again, because I don't like the idea that because these far left whack jobs insult Christianity, people immediately take to insulting Islam to replace it or disrespecting it. So I mean no disrespect to Islam. I actually think many Muslims would agree and take issue with the mockery of religion. I think Andrew Tate specifically talks about this because he's Muslim, and he's like, Jesus was a good, I think Muslims view Jesus as a prophet, and he was like, they're mocking everyone and they shouldn't do it. So I do want to point that out. My point, though, for the most part, is the hypocrisy. They would never tolerate the mockery of Islam because there's a political play there for them. They're just insulting Christians. Now we've got the whole J.D. Vance is weird thing going on from SCNR. J.D. Vance is weird. Trump's VP pick joins in on trending meme. The meme appears to have been started by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz while commenting on Trump, Vance, and Republicans. I got to tell you, it's so annoying that you've got all of these conservatives being like, J.D. Vance is not weird. You want to see weird? Here's a drag queen. And I'm like, ugh. I so don't care about any of it. I don't care that they call J.D. Vance weird. They can call him whatever they want. Why are you playing their narrative game? We win when we set the news cycle. Do not let them set the news cycle. You know what we need? It's real simple. You get all the big conservative pundits together in a group chat, and they share stories I think are important. And then one day you wake up and Alex Jones, Steven Crowder, Styx Hexenhammer, Viva Fry, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh are all saying like, Trump assassination story, this is crazy. Then the New York Times is like, we're not getting clicks on this story. Why? Everyone in the political sphere is talking about this one story. Set the cycle. Stop letting them set the cycle. This is what they're hoping for, and everyone's jumping right in. The meme about J.D. Vance being, first of all, he's not weird. It's stupid. This is what they're doing. J.D. Vance is weird, and then they're posting, you know, the memes are funny, by the way. Yeah, nah. You don't win by giving them the news cycle. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But I guess, whatever, man. You can say what you want to say about whoever you want to say. It's fine. I just think we'd be better off if we ignored the stuff. J.D. Vance is, I think the real criticism that they're not getting into is limited experience in politics. Hillbilly elegy. And this guy now, he's been in office for like a year and a half or whatever. Is that what they're saying, a year and a half? I like J.D. Vance. He's like a regular dude. I think it plays really well. I think now with him as Trump's choice, this guarantees them a strong showing in the Rust Belt and the blue wall states, they call it. But Ohio, I think, goes Trump easy with Vance. Vance is a good dude. Seems like a regular guy. That's just it. Hard to go after him. They call him weird. I don't care. I'm going to wrap that segment up here. The next story we have coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen, is 160,000 white women for Kamala Harris join Zoom call. This one is going to fry your brains. You are going to hate me after this. You're going to say, how dare you make me listen? In fact, this video is so annoying, I may lose subscribers over it. I'm half kidding, but maybe not. I'll wrap it up there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. for those that are just watching the segment, not watching live. Stick around and smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. And you can also watch Timcast IRL. But again, we'll be back at 4 for those that are watching live. I will grab super chats and read those to you now.